there are 13 pillars there. And the first and most important point is when you look at that list, you go, well, I haven't got 13 people. How on earth am I going to staff a centre of excellence? And the point is, it's actually skills, not roles. And people seem to focus on the word centre rather than excellence. So this is all about putting in place some of those pillars. And as it says there, these are phased. And in a moment, I'll talk about how you would phase the introduction of some of these skills. I'll just go through them very quickly. Vision. So what actually is the vision for Salesforce? Think of it as a product. If you're any product company, you have a vision, you have a roadmap. So what is your vision for Salesforce? What leadership, where is the support coming from? Is it from IT? What business level of support? In terms of governance, how are we driving things around a change cycle? Is there a governance board? How are we making sure that we have the right sign-offs, we have the business case, the return on investment nailed? In terms of change control, not just the changes to Salesforce, but everything around it, the training, the change management. The next point there is methodology. Waterfall, is it agile, is it a combination of those? But again, what is that? What is your implementation methodology? Standards is not just technical standards, it's standards around training, it's standards around documentation. Then the big one, metadata management. Salesforce is very powerful, but with power comes a level of responsibility to make sure that we're not building up a level of technical debt. Architecture, and again, a huge issue in terms of upfront design of the systems you're building, not just of Salesforce, but obviously of the integrations. Change management is all about how we're changing the hearts and minds of people, not just about can we change the software, but can we actually get people to adopt it and use it the way it's expected. PMO stands for Program Management Office. That's all about managing the program, managing the projects, the project streams, about driving out that return on investment. Salesforce needs enterprise tooling. That's why companies like Elements, Own Backup, Capado exist to support the implementation. And the last one on there, prototyping. What we're seeing with people with multiple orgs is that the centre of excellence ends up being that centre of innovation. Something which works well in one org can be picked up, used and applied in other areas, or even the centre of excellence is there driving the innovation and saying to the business, look what's possible. So again, that's where that prototyping comes from. And as I said, these are skills, not roles. They're phased, so you don't have to have all of these from day one. And they're solved problems. We're not having to make this up from first principles. As I said, there's over half a century of experience of Salesforce on the panel, but there's significantly more experience when we think about IT development. So lots of the things we're talking about, we've seen in other ecosystems. And a report that came out from 10K Advisors identified that those with a Salesforce COE report far better return on investment and a higher and therefore better results. So clearly there is a business case for putting some of these things in place. So the question is, how do I do that? And what I looked at here was small, medium and large. Which things that you need to have in place from day one? Which things can be delayed as you get larger? And small, medium and large does not necessarily mean the number of users in your org. This is about the level of complexity. You could be a small wealth advisor with a very complex, highly regulated environment. And therefore, I'd consider that large because of the size of the impact or the size of the risk. And as you can see there, if it's a white dot, probably not required. Yellow means yes, you should be thinking about it. Red says, obviously, you need it in place. So as you can see, by the time you get to large, I'm expecting there's a red dot in every single box. But some of the things, when you're small, you probably don't need. Ideally, you should have them in place, but you can get away with not having them.